All right, guys, I got a special video for you today, guys. It's going to be a competition weekend experience in Pittsburgh where they had an IFBB Pro qualifier. The first time they've ever done this. It's a drug-free, drug-tested natural pro qualifier in Pittsburgh. Previously, they had one in DC every year, the Ben Weider, but this is new. And this was also the first year of this giant fitness expo, the Pittsburgh Pitt Pro, which is honestly probably going to start to rival the Arnold in years ahead as far as the scope of the event. Amazing city. We're just going to get right into it, and we're also going to talk about the first ever IFBB Pro Fit Model. Yeah, and I was fortunate enough to have one of those young ladies. So we're going to talk about the whole weekend. We'll talk about the division, but I just wanted to share this journey with you guys. And tomorrow morning, I'm driving to Charleston, South Carolina. So I'm probably going to put this video out. So as you're watching it, I'm probably driving to have some other competitors of mine compete at the next Fit Model Pro Qualifier, as well as a Bikini Pro Qualifier. So we're going to have lots of great competitions coming up. I'm trying to document these with clips and stuff and then do the voiceovers. And so I'm just going to kind of go through the clips. This is my friend Brian DaCosta, who was in town. He doesn't live too far away in West Virginia. He's my client. He was the 2023 WNBF World Bodybuilding Champion. Whenever I get a chance to see Brian, I do. This was me feeling myself. I took some pictures in the gym and I thought, man, I'm looking pretty good for a 49-year-old schmuck. All right, so the day before the show is an opportunity where we train, we pose, and the Pittsburgh show was a little different because they had the IFBB pros go on Saturday for the men and for the women on Sunday. So all the men's competitors were Saturday, all the women were Sunday. So this is Kayla, and she is one of my bikini competitors who will be fighting for a pro card this year. She's a very good competitor, and yeah, I'm excited to get her up on some of the bigger national stages. So this is Coach Evan and his clients, who all looked fantastic, and I just wanted to show you guys the day before. For those that haven't, competed too frequently, we'll often go through scenarios on stage, how the judges might move you, make sure that they're hitting their angles. When you're on stage, one thing you have to consider is you need to center your posing towards the center of the judging, right? So oftentimes what we'll see is we'll see competitors that are in the 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 position on the outside, posing straight ahead, not posing towards the middle. So just working on things like that, working on how to, handle that. I did want to get some footage of this. This was, when you're at these bodybuilding shows, you got to get used to seeing really great athletes, but this is Terrence Ruffford and a guy named Josima. And I was so impressed with this Josima. Now, I know Terrence, he's from the Tampa area. I've seen him compete many times, but it was cool. I think all the pro shows, this was Pro Classic Physique. The top 2 guys in each class were just spectacular. So on Sunday, Backstage, Bikini goes first. So this is Kayla just going through her routine for me. And again, all I'm looking for here is to make sure her color is right, make sure her posing is correct, she's peaked properly. I'm loving her conditioning, I'm loving her shape. She's got all the wow factor. This was our second show of the season, so we were ready to go. She was very finely tuned. This is Maddie Litterer. Maddie is coached by Sarah, who's actually competing this weekend in Atlanta. Sarah's a coach for Pro Physique, also another client of mine. If you are looking for a coach, you can go to prophysique.com, sign up, and set up a free consult. It's what we do. We love to coach people in all walks of life, lifestyle, fat loss, general, but I love my competitors. I focus mostly on the competitor side at this point. And so I just wanted to give you guys some insight of what it looks like backstage. The nice thing about some of these shows is this big venue, so everyone can fit back there. There's not people hiding. There's Coach Evan. They did have it blocked off where coaches could only stay in like this area. But, it's good to be back there with the athletes. And this was Tabitha. Now, Tabitha was slated to do the Bikini Division. And a couple weeks out, I said, Tabitha, we're not going to quite be lean enough for the Bikini Division to be competitive at this show. How would you feel about switching to Fit Model? She was for it. This is Danielle. Daniela was the competitor who won the overall in the last video, if you watched, at the Natural Florida. The Natural Florida Pro, Florida Grand Prix. Incredible shape, incredible look. Yeah, so we're gonna watch a little bit of the prejudging here. Now, sorry if the videos kind of go back and forth between vertical and horizontal, but this is Evan's client in the blue, and I kept thinking they were going to move her to the center. Right in this position, she's in that 2-3 position. But I just kept looking at her thinking, man, she's very complete here. And sure enough, they do move her to the center of her class. And as a coach, when you're at these shows, it's fun to kind of get a glimpse at, you know, what they're doing. So here we go. Yeah, they moved her to the center, and that's what you want to see. So, and I remember there was 9 competitors. So when there's a 9th competitor instead of 8, you have a true center, right? So it's usually a really good sign, but you're never sure until the end. There's Steven with the rally chicken. It squeaks really loud. I don't know, it was fun. And then as some of the competitors start coming out, we got some of their individual routines. This is Kayla's individual routine. I mean, just look at her hourglass shape. She's about 5'6". I think we were about 116 at this show. So this is, don't forget, this is a drug tested event. This is the, you know, I guess this will be the springtime Ben Weider. The Ben Weider is in like November. This is in May, but you have to compete at the show, you have to do a drug tested competition before this. You cannot just show up and get drug tested. You actually have to qualify prior. So then after they do the groups, or after they do the individuals, they bring everybody out in groups. And so that is Kayla, the blue suit, dark hair there, left of the center. The green suit is, I think she's actually dead center. There was 9. So what I was waiting for was to see, okay, are they gonna move Kayla and her? But, you know, the young lady in the green, she had a little bit more in the quads. She had very good shape as well, great beauty. So, you know, I knew if there's a true center, Kayla was probably fighting for that 2nd spot, unless they move her in. You know, but the more turns you get, the better. When you're not where you want to be, you want to have them keep turning you till you get to that middle spot. But she never did get moved to the middle, so we ended up taking a 2nd place here, which is no slouch. Like this is a very competitive show. As far as the bikini division goes, there was, I believe 60 something competitors for the 2 pro cards. Very good show. Yeah, it was shocking how big the show was because they hadn't done it before. And as a coach, you'd love to see when the natural side of the sport is gaining some ground, because they did this show last year. Obviously it wasn't a pro qualifier, but they only had a handful of competitors. So to see this be this much bigger, very exciting. And there they are. That was it. That's where it ended. Now this is Maddie Litterer. She is coached by Sarah Winstead, and Sarah herself is a very good competitor competing this weekend. I think she had a couple girls here. Maddie has great conditioning, great size, great shape. And so, you know, with her, it's just a matter of, you know, she does have a longer torso, so it does kind of throw her proportions off when she gets in the lineup with some other competitors, which you'll see here in a second. She's ends up splitting middle, but yeah, just a fantastic overall structure. This is Naomi, who is Stephen Bogrand's client, another coach for Pro Physique. If you're familiar with me, you probably know who Stephen is. And then, you know, it's always cool when you have a class of 6 competitors. So this was the tallest class. And, well, guess who's in the middle? That's right, both Pro Physique. You got Maddie and you got Naomi. And Naomi came all the way over from Europe to do the show, and she looked fantastic. So, yeah, I mean, honestly, we were happy. One of us was gonna, you know, one of the coaches was gonna have somebody in the overall for the bikini. Ultimately, it was Naomi who took this one. Maddie took a close second, and we got feedback from them. So here you just see them turning them more. And again, sometimes I'm getting multiple videos just because I'm trying to get something for YouTube. Then I'm trying to get something for the gram. I try to keep up on the weekends like this. You do end up sitting a lot of the time. So then the Fit Model division starts. This is the individual Fit Model routine for Tabitha, which you saw her doing her routine backstage. But yeah, I think she looked very good. You'll see how she compares. She's got a lot of muscle. We're continuing to diet down now so that she can do bikini. But, you know, she did make a really good transition. She did really good with her posing. I believe she was working with Lana Dunbar. Lana is just crushing it with posing right now. She's the best in the game, in my opinion. All right, so this was the Fit Model Open category. And so you see Tabitha there in the purple. And let's see where they move her. do they move her? I'm trying to remember. It's been a few weeks. I like the front pose, how she's doing it, twisting, showing off the glute a little bit. I do think a couple of the young ladies were a little bit leaner and showing a little bit more detail. So don't think of Fit Model as super soft. You just don't want to be as hard as you would be for bikini, but you still want really good conditioning, really good shape. You want to show off your lines. But now we're getting into the rest of the Fit Model. This is Daniela, who, like I said, she had just won the overall the weekend before to get qualified for this. And she's somebody that, you know, initially we were really coming down to do bikini at this show, but I tried putting her in the Fit Model poses right before. And that pose right there, you'll see how striking that is when she's in a lineup, like a large lineup. I just felt like she just had that wow factor for the Fit Model class. So this was fun because there was a class of 9 for Daniela's class. They moved her right to the center. Nothing to say. You know, she's got nice full glutes, not too much conditioning. You know, we're lean enough that you can see the shape of everything. And they talked a little bit with us after the show about non-negotiables. And the reason I brought that up is I said, what's something that can get you kind of in trouble in Fit Model? They said the suit. They don't want the suits to be too small. They also said we don't want to see hard lines, hard separation in the delts. You know, you'll see sometimes the delts popping. You'll also see tie-ins or hamstrings. They don't want that. They don't want tie-ins. They want it to be a very pleasing look. They don't want your eye going to anything. The core can be pretty tight because, you know, dieting down, sometimes the core will get a little bit tighter. As you can see, Daniela has a nice lower back tie-in. Her abs look good. But yeah, she just is a really good balance. You see her shoulder to waist ratio is ridiculous. She's obviously very beautiful. So, you know, I was pretty confident because they moved her in from the outside right to dead center. I was pretty confident. Then, remember what I told you, this was all the female divisions. So as someone who's had, I think, 8 or 9 Bikini Olympians over my career, and Lana will be at the Bikini Olympia this year, so my 6th year in a row having an Olympian. I wanted to watch Pro Bikini, and it was always exciting knowing that Maureen Blanquisco is coming back to the stage. This is her first show in, gosh, I think almost a year and a half. And this first call out is just pretty crazy. You've got Amy and Ashlyn fighting for the win here. So they had Amy and Ashlyn splitting middle, and you know, you've got some perennial top girls, but Maureen, Ashlyn, and Amy kind of separated themselves from everybody else. So this is a real battle right here. Ashlyn and Amy. And I mean, Amy has just added so much muscle over the years. Her shape is incredible. Her shoulders and glutes and quads, there's her balance. And here's the team. We got a little team picture while we were there. So now we're on to the awards. The one thing about this show is they kind of went right through. Remember, this was Sunday, so it's going into Sunday evening for finals. This is Evan's client fighting for the pro card. She didn't get it. I tried to film Evan hoping he would get it, and I think you're probably going to see here. So if she would have won that overall, she would have got her pro card. So I thought, let me film Evan just in case. And yeah, no pro card for her. But she'll get it this year. She's too good. And here's Kayla getting second, which it's a bummer, but we've got more shows on the horizon for her. In fact, she's competing very soon in another NPC show. There's Naomi winning first and Maddie getting second. Now we're on to Fit Model Awards. Tabitha won her class, and then this is her for the overall for the over 40 Fit Model. And you know, once I saw this, I was pretty confident. She's got more muscle, her conditioning's on par, and I thought, you know what, I think Tabitha might have just gotten herself an overall in Fit Model, and lo and behold, she did. Now, what's cool about that is, you know, we were kind of not even sure we were going to do this show because I felt she wasn't lean enough for bikini, so we made the switch. So, yeah, I think you're going to see a good deal of that. Sorry, we're going through the awards here very quickly. So, yeah, Daniela did end up winning her class, and so that means she's going to be in the overall. Now, this overall was a little different because they had 4 girls in the overall, and then the top 2 get your pro cards. So I'm familiar with the young lady on the left. She actually won the overall at Girl Power. And then the young lady to the right of center, I think she had won 2 or 3 overalls going into this. So she was somebody that a lot of people were watching. And then there's Daniela, who nobody had ever seen before. She had just done her first show the week before. And I actually thought Daniela was winning this. I thought she had better shape, fuller glutes. But obviously, you know, this is such a new division. I'm still learning the criteria for how the judges are going to decide things. Ultimately, Daniela took second in the overall, getting her pro card. So, hey, first ever pro qualifier, first ever IFBB Fit Model Pro, Daniela. And yeah, it's always fun. The victors get the spoils. But don't forget, this was a drug-tested show. So after she did this, she had to go do your analysis. You have to pee, and they, you know, they take it and they ship it, so it gets drug tested. And you also have to do a polygraph before the show. So yeah, overall, just a really great experience. Here she is finally after she did everything. They drove like 30 hours to come to this show. So as a coach, just very excited. All my athletes did so well. All the coaches, you know, Steven and Evan, Sarah, all their athletes did so well. So it was a great experience. I will definitely be back to the Pitt Power Pro. Hey, congrats to Daniela, but I'm getting ready to get up tomorrow morning, drive up to South Carolina, see if we can't get some more pro cards for this division. All right. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Remember, if you want a free consult, I'll put a link below, prophysique.com, sign up. But yeah, let's talk about your prep goals, and hopefully you guys enjoy this kind of content. Let me know. I'll keep it coming. I'll try to film some this weekend. All right, guys. Talk to you soon.